It's all for play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hi, villains, and welcome in this very early morning edition of a podcast. This is a pre-recorded one, by the way, everybody, just because life has kind of gotten in the way for both myself and Paddy. Paddy going to the game, obviously needing to get stuff sorted. So we are here. It's just before 8 a.m. on this wonderful Friday morning. It's going to be a belter by the looks of things outside here. And look, I'm going to be honest. I wanted Paddy to do this about 4 a.m. this morning or quarter to 4 this morning when I was up. But Paddy inconvenienced me by having to wait until now. But as you can see, Paddy's all ready for the day that is yet to come.
The bizarre thing is, ordinarily I would have been awake at that hour of the morning, but yeah. So there was no hope of me getting your message this morning. For some reason, I'm sleeping very soundly, considering what's ahead of me this weekend. Exactly. So I'm grateful that I will be totally rested going into it.
That's fantastic, yeah, and I'm as jealous as anything that you're getting to go over to it. As I say, I had tickets for this game for obvious reasons. I've had to relinquish those tickets. I did it. I actually relinquished the tickets just before the Spurs game, and little did I know what was going to come. But look, we're where we want to be. We've it in our own hands. Essentially, it's as simple as the title says here: win and we're in. It's as simple as that. Win and we're in. No one else can take it away from us. And we're against a Brighton team who can't get any higher in the league, can't get any lower in the league, but still need the relevant amount of respect for obvious reasons. I don't see this as a team that I see this as a team of high integrity. I see it as a manager that has high integrity as well. And they're going to take great joy in coming to Villa Park and beating us and finishing their season on a high as well. So we really need to be on guard. A lot of things have been written recently about them getting 4 days off before the game. They're going to be without 6 players before, from their squad for this game. Means nothing. Villa have to go out there today, or have to go out there on Sunday, puff their chest out, and they have to get the result. And I think they will, Paddy.
And look, the pressure is all on us. They have nothing to play for. They're guaranteed 6th place. They can't go to 5th. There's nothing to motivate them. And that's when a team is feared the most, because they're playing without fear. They're just going to stroke the ball around. They'll be hoping their fans can do an ole every time they pass the ball and really enjoy the crack. Whereas we're arse to the wall, foot to the pump, trying to fucking get out of this. Ironically, we could still lose and still end up in Europe, and that's fine too. I would actually slap your hands off for that now if that's the way it's going to pan out. But obviously, we don't know that, and I would much prefer to go and see the Unai Emery show at the weekend, knowing that I'm going to see a guy go all out. And look, let's address this right. Today's Rotterdam Day.
It is Rotterdam Day. Yeah, happy Rotterdam Day, everyone. A happy day Diego Carlos signed last season as well.
So, look, it's an important day in our club's history. It's also the anniversary of probably a more important day, was the day we lost the playoff final to Fulham, and Dr. Tony didn't take us into the Premier League, because God knows where we'd be now if that's the case. So here we are 5 years later, 5 years on from that day. That day, I'll never forget sitting in a pub after that game watching, I think it was Liverpool and Real Madrid in the Champions League final, and being absolutely distraught, and just that feeling of total dejection and wondering, where the hell do we go from here? And the most uncertain summer was ahead. And yet, here we are 5 years on, worrying about getting into Europe. It's absolutely incredible. So I'm going to remind myself that Sunday, if this doesn't come to fruition, touch wood, I won't be getting to this situation. But we just got to be grounded and be thankful for where we are instead of where we could have been if things went differently on that day in Wembley in 2018. Yeah. So here we are on the cusp of Europe. If we get there, we get there. If we don't, I will try my utmost not to be too down about it. But this is just an amazing thing to be happening to us.
I agree, yeah, and like a lot of those things are poignant. It's very poignant when you talk about that. I remember, lots and lots of clubs in the Premier League have had ownership come in and say, in 5 years' time, I want this in the Champions League, I want this in Europe, or whatever the case is. Greg Evans wrote a pretty good article, kind of encapsulating, I suppose, what the last 5 years have been for Aston Villa. It's been consolidation, quick consolidation. It's been like the amount of times this playing squad has. When I say the playing squad now, obviously I know we're still using players from Dean Smith's era, but the amount of turnover and players that we've had, even from coming up from the Championship, all those older players that their contracts weren't renewed, and over time were let go from coming up to the Premier League, then signing like Trezeguet, Bjorn Engels, all those guys here coming in. So lots of those after being let go. Then the likes of the Ross Barkley year that we had when we brought in players like that, they've all departed. And what's really happened over those last 5 years, Paddy, is that a core group of grizzled, I'm going to call them grizzled performers, have come to the fray. And there's a lot of experience of tough situations. There's an awful lot of experience of heartbreak. There's an awful lot of experience of, being questioned and having to rise above questioning, specifically when you talk about the likes of Tyrone Mings, John McGinn, Douglas Luiz. And they're now our leadership team. And, that forms teams, that forms players, it forms clubs. And I'm hoping, I'm going to say more so than hoping. I'm confident, is what I would say. I'm confident that all those experiences, the experiences of, having to fight back, first season back up in the Premier League, the Trezeguet back post stuff, the VAR or the Hawkeye malfunction, still getting that thrown at us fans and stuff. All this kind of stuff is character building, and it culminates this Sunday. And I'm expectant and I'm confident that this team is going to have the backbone needed to be able to dig in when they need to, and then to be able to drive forward. But it all starts with that core leadership group, as I mentioned, the Tyrone Mingses of this world, the Ezra Konzes of this world, the two lads in midfield, as I mentioned, Douglas Luiz and John McGinn, and then obviously the new blood that's coming, the Jacob Ramseys, the Ollie Watkins who's come in and gotten double figures in these last 3 seasons. They're the support cast for me. But we're going to need to have everybody firing on all cylinders, and having that steel in the belly, I suppose, really from those tough times. Hopefully that will stand to us now at the weekend against the team, as you said, that don't really have anything to play for and are on cloud 9 themselves. I'm hoping when they went away that they went to Ibiza and a couple of them went down the shisha pipes for 4 days straight, and they come back.
Well, I hope they went on something harder than a shisha pipe now.
Well, I'm just thinking about lungs. Like, I'm just thinking about their lungs, so they come back to be blowing black smoke for a while. That's all I'm thinking about. But Paddy, oh jeez, I said something to you just before the podcast. This will tell you now how early it is and how long it's taken my brain to engage. I said something to you before the podcast, and I said I want to say that on the podcast, and I can't remember what it is now. Anyway, it'll come to me at some stage. If it does come to me, if it doesn't, forget I ever said that. But Paddy, I suppose, look, we've kind of learned from an Unai Emery side of things that there's no real point in talking about what the lineup is going to be. Predicted lineups and stuff like that probably doesn't really make much of a difference. We're going to play the way we're going to play, and it's really going to come down to the core group that I mentioned in the middle, with a support cast of potentially a Bailey, Buendia, maybe Luca Dean will be in there. Won't have Alex Moreno, and then it'll be a choice of Cash and Young at right back. Do you think that puts us in a good stead for this game, Paddy? Once again, that the familiarity of this team with Brighton not having arguably their best player this season, not having a Solly March there this season, and some players that will have been rested over the course of this week. Do you think it makes any difference?
Do you know what? I think it makes absolutely no difference. They are just they've been a machine all season. When you think about it, they went to Man City and got a result the other night with leaving out Ferguson, leaving out Dunk. You just don't know what they're going to throw at you this weekend. That's the thing. I'd like to think they can come and give a few young lads a run and, the likes of Enciso and Matoma, McAllister, Ferguson, Welbeck, all of these guys could take a bloody break. So, look, they're a well-oiled machine. They've got a brilliant manager. It's just like there's going to be a queue of huge clubs looking for this manager. I hope to God they hold on to him, because the likes of us, the likes of them breaking into this top 6, 7 is only good for the English game. The people who support the greedy six will not believe this, but like Leicester winning the Premier League, Newcastle getting into the top 4, despite we know what Newcastle's money is coming from and all that, I'm absolutely fine with it. Every league needs to change up. If it doesn't change up, it becomes stale. The reason people stopped watching football over the years is that they're looking at Man United winning the league year in, year out. German football, you look at Bayern Munich winning it year in, year out with the odd one thrown in there. Same as Spanish football. It needs to be shaken up. It needs a club like a Brighton, like an Aston Villa, like a Newcastle coming in and upsetting the apple cart. And here we are, ready to do it. But this is a really talented bunch of players. As I said, if you can leave out the players that I named previously, and still have a problem, albeit I think a personal issue between the manager and their first choice goalkeeper.
Spanish Bob, yeah.
And still be performing and still pulling the results out of the hat. They've obviously got something really, really special going on, and it's not going to be easy at the weekend. It really isn't.
So Brighton's last 10 games, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10 away games have been draw, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. And I suppose really, if you look at that loss, win, loss over the last 4 games, they've lost to Spurs away. They've won away to Chelsea. They lost away to Nottingham Forest. They won 3-0 away to Arsenal. They lost 4-1 to Newcastle. The away form has been a bit patchy in the last 10 games. So it's it counts for nothing, I suppose, in the last day of the season. Villa have only won one of their last 8 games on the last day of the season. So it kind of counts for nothing. It's a cup game, and this is what I'm trying to get at here.
Well, that's the thing. Form is out the window this weekend, and when you say it's a cup game, it's only a cup final on one side, which is probably how we need it to be.
Correct. Yeah.
So they're for them, this is a procession, a celebration. Obviously, they'd like to win the game. If they don't win it, it doesn't really mean a whole pile. Otherwise, their fans are going to come and have an epic day out. They're going to get drunk. They're going to go back down to Brighton. I think it's a bank holiday weekend in the UK. They're going to have a great night. They're going to celebrate the European football. And hopefully we'll be doing the same. Not too much, because I'm back at 7 o'clock in the morning for work on Monday. So won't be doing too much celebrating. But as I said to you before the podcast, I might be on the piss for a week after that once I get Monday done.
To Paddy's boss, I will tell you straight out, Paddy will be employed on Monday if Villa win. He certainly will not be working. There's a distinction without a difference in the two of those there for sure.
He'll know that more than most, because he'll be with me on Monday.
Oh yeah. Plenty of you might get that CB12, plenty of musk, plenty of brute to mask the smell of alcohol, whatever else. But Villa's home form as well. Actually, I forgot to mention it there when I was talking about Brighton's away form. Now, we've won our last 6 at home. We've only conceded 1 goal at home. We've scored 4, 9, 10, 11, 12. We've scored 12 goals to only conceding 1 at home in the last 6 games. So I suppose really what I was kind of getting at here is that we should be like, the players should be super confident. We've wanted Villa Park to be a fortress. We wanted it to be a place that people came to fear. It didn't look like that when we lost to Liverpool, when we drew at home to Wolverhampton. We lost to Stevenage in the Cup. We lost to Leicester. We lost to Arsenal. That was a 6-game stretch. Since that Arsenal game, obviously on the 18th of February, we've completely turned it around. 6 wins on the bounce. Let's make it 7 and 7. Seventh heaven. I was gonna go with there, but that's very partridgey. So I think I'm gonna reverse out of that out of that one there. I think, because it is very partridgey. Paddy, like, it's a funny one. Brighton is a funny one, and I'll tell you why I think it's a funny one, because like, their recruitment is so good. Their recruitment is so focused. Their recruitment is so it's so analyzed and detailed, and it's great. like even the likes of taking Billy Gilmore, not
Yeah.
things not going his way. Started quite a lot of games this season. Yeah, he's not been brilliant, but he's fit into that system and he's not let them down at any given time. Also, the likes of getting the likes of Purvis Estupian as well. Una Emery's going to know him inside out from his time at Villarreal. And then, you talk about the Enciso, Mitoma, well, specifically Enciso, Casero, and the two of
After
those
growth.
specifically. They were well known as being superstars in the making in South America, but European teams weren't taking the chance on them. Brighton took the chance on them. Neither of these two guys started straight out of the blocks. Casero was given time to grow. He's grown into that fantastic player that he is now. Obviously, come in, improved on the likes of Basuma that moved on from Brighton as well. What I'm getting at here, Paddy, is you'd be half hoping that Brighton start to give maybe the kids a go at the weekend. I think that's the worst thing they could do for Aston Villa, because if you're going bringing in like 2 or 3 kids into the team, or 2 or 3 people that you think might be ready to step up, maybe you bring in a Dennis Undav instead of Ferguson up front, which is quite possible that happens. Maybe you bring in you bring in maybe the heir apparent to Alexis McAllister that's going to come in there from. I don't want to see that, because that gives them the hunger to impress in the last game of the season and leave De Zerbi with thoughts in his mind going into the season where there's an opportunity for them to get more games, considering they're going to have more games in Europe as well.
Look, it's all ifs, buts, and maybes. The most important thing we need to focus on is doing our own job. I feel that with everybody firing on all cylinders, and I mean everybody, I mean the Leon Bailey needs to be firing on all cylinders, and me and Ollie Watkins need to be firing on all cylinders. Where this game is going to be won and lost is between our ears. We need to be in their faces. We need to be on the front foot from the start. And where they're vulnerable is on the counter-attack. We need to be totally switched on from the start to hit them on the break. Every time they come at us, bang on the break, bang on the break. For that reason, I'd probably rather not see Bailey, because he just hasn't done it for me. I'd rather see Ollie Watkins on his own with Buendia off him as such, dropping that bit deeper and playing him through, and whatever, getting corners out of it, getting free kicks out of it, whatever it is. I think that's where we hurt them, or it hasn't happened in the last few games. Maybe he's as tired as you since his new arrival, but he hasn't scored a goal since his new arrival. And do you know what? As much as I've said about him, I think this is the day for him to step up and become a hero. I think if he does it this weekend, I think if he's our hero this weekend, the team will be built around him, and there'll be a striker brought in alongside of him instead of in his place. So I'm praying for him, because I think he deserves it. After the second half of the season, he has the amount of goals that he scored. The potential is there. We know the potential is there. It took a good manager to bring that potential out. But this is a huge game for Ollie Watkins. It's a huge game for everybody, but I would just love to see him score this weekend. Not a penalty. Please don't let him take a penalty. I know how much penalties can get in your head. So maybe Luca Dean or John McGinn or somebody else will take the penalty. But whatever way it comes, I really want Ollie Watkins to succeed this weekend, and just to finish this season how people will remember it, rather than the last few games. If he misses a couple of sitters this weekend, I think it will be a disaster for his confidence. So I'd love to see him just do it for himself, for his future, and for us.
Yeah,
we stood by him. We stood by him when he wasn't firing over the last few years. Now that we're behind him, we just need one more big performance from everybody.
Yeah, I think that's an early goal. I think we're going to come right out of the traps. Look for an early goal. It's been a staple of Unai Emery's tenure here. I'm confident that this team can hold any team in the Premier League to not. I know I said last week when we were away at Anfield, I thought 2 goals would be needed. That's an away game. I think at Villa Park, I think we've shown only conceding 1 in the last 6 games. We can hold teams to a duck egg in Villa Park. I just really hope, there's a lot of bittersweet stuff with Brighton. Look, I think it's fair to say over the course of this season, you're going to have to walk a long road. Maybe not in the Crystal Palace fan supporters club or whatever, but in most other supporters clubs, I think everybody has taken their hat off to Brighton and said, what a fantastic team. And they've slowly kind of ground out and become everybody's kind of second favorite team because of the mix of youth that they have in there. For me personally, obviously, look, I think for the two of us, Paddy, Evan Ferguson is super exciting. They've got Andy Moore and Andrew Moore, and I know you call him Andy Moore, and I don't want to put that on him at all. Because although if he does start at the weekend, I hope he does have an Andy Moore performance on the big day, because I certainly don't want to have an Andrew Moore. And that's a very niche joke here in Ireland. I won't even go into explaining it because we'll lose listeners at the rate of knots. We probably will lose. There won't be anyone in Mayo listening to us after that anyway, I'd say. Yeah. But Andrew Moore, another Irish player that's super high thought of. Roberto De Zerbi thinks he could be the next big thing as well. So I don't want him to start because I don't want either of them to start. Yeah, I don't want either of them to start.
As you're well aware, Evan Ferguson is a family friend growing up. His family were his father, his uncle would have played with me, his granddad would have played with my father, and what kills me is going back 4 years ago when Evan Ferguson played for Bows for the first time under 15, and I got word to Aston Villa about this young fella that was coming through, and nothing was acted on, and here they are now with just this superstar in their hand. So I could only do what I could do. So I got the word over, but it never came true. Well, I don't think it ever came to fruition or getting him over on trial or anything like that. But you had this big 6 foot plus centre forward of 15 years of age who had incredible skill even at that stage. So we know what he's capable.
His cameo against Chelsea. When he played for Bows in the preseason. Yeah. He just literally just carved through him like butter, and he was only just gone 15, I think, at that stage.
Yeah,
ridiculous. But look, we're not fawning over him. We do. It is an Aston Villa podcast, and we hope.
That's for the week after next when we've got international football. But it's not fawning at all. It's worry. It's worry that that has us in this conversation, and. And he's not the only one I'm worried about. That three behind the 3 4-2-3-1. I think that's where they're going to hurt us. Matoma has been brilliant. They have another fella, Benanote. Is that was his name?
Benanote, yeah.
Benanote. I like the two games that worry me are the two games that give me hope are the 4-1 loss to Newcastle and the 5-1 loss to Everton.
And the 3-1 against Forest.
3-1 against Forest. I forgot about that one. But I actually watched the other two. That's why I have a little bit of hope about it. I watched
two of those were away from home. The Newcastle and the Forest one were away from home. That's where I was getting with the away losses recently. Yeah. It's been a bit patchy.
Yeah, and as we all know, if you can win all your home matches, your chances are you're heading for Europe. If you win all your away matches, chances are you're heading for Europe. Yeah. So it's just one of those things. If you can balance both, you're heading for Champions League football. So it's that's for next year's conversation. But it's a bit of the unknown because you don't know what team he's going to put out there. Is he going to put out someone who deserves a run? Is he going to rest Evan Ferguson? Is he going to rest? In Ciso,
I think Ferguson doesn't start. I think Dennis Undav starts.
I don't think he's firing on all cylinders either. Which I, for that reason alone, I hope he's not playing.
He got 2 goals last week, just 2 snapshots.
But he's coming back from an injury. He just doesn't look like he's totally mobile. But obviously, that doesn't stop you scoring goals if you're a striker.
If you're good, it doesn't stop you scoring goals either. There's one player I want to give a small bit of time to because we're speaking obviously about the glamour names. I think arguably pound for pound, one of the best signings of the season has been Levi Colwill at them at centre half for Brighton. Obviously he's only on loan from Chelsea, but my God, he looks really impressive. Like ball player. Look, put it this way, he's almost afraid to tackle. They keep him as far away from tackling. Not that he can't. But because he's so good with his feet, you look at it. He's there to win the ball in the air. He's there to pass the ball out from the back. He's a 89%, I think, pass completion rate. He attempts about 90 passes a game, give or take, from memory. He's able to carry the ball forward as well, carry it out of midfield or out of defense. Real proper new age centre half. And he's able to play that way because he's got the war horse of Lewis Dunk beside him. But I think Levi Colwell is someone who goes, he doesn't go under the radar. He's obviously been spoken about quite a lot, but it just he's going to go back to Chelsea at the end of this season, and you're going to wonder where the hell he's going to fit in, considering they're probably going to spend another £500 million again this summer. But I just wanted to give him a mention, and the reason I wanted to give him a mention as well is that depending on who we play, like if we have a Buendia, if Buendia does start up top, or which I actually more am kind of siding with at the moment, is that we're going to go with Bailey out wide and we're going to go with John McGinn up top. And John McGinn is going to stand down on top of on Levi Colwell and not let him get those passes out. The press is going to be ferocious up there. If that was to happen, I think this is somebody we need to target. He's their outlet ball. A lot of pieces have been talked about how Brighton, put their foot in the ball. They draw teams in. Let's be cute about what we do there, and that's why I think maybe a John McGinn starts further up closer to an Ollie Watkins up there, so that he can be like a blue arse fly and run around the place and get inside these guys. Maybe make him pass it sideways to Lewis Dunk, and then get on to Dunk as quick as possible. Not that Dunk is bad with the ball at his feet.
If it is Dunk, he didn't play Dunk against Man City. He played Van Heckel, and. Just another side note, those two games that I mentioned where they shipped 5 against Everton and they shipped 4 against Newcastle, Colwell didn't play.
Yep.
So he is obviously a very, very decent centre half. Whether Chelsea choose to do the typical Chelsea thing, keep him there till 23 or 24 and then ship him on and ruin his career, they may very well do. But I hope he gets a decent move out of there, because it's an absolute shit show.
I'd imagine Brighton are going to break the bank to try and sign him.
You would think so. The way he's been spoken about, you would absolutely think so.
Specifically as well, he's been so pivotal to having those 2 ball-playing centre-halves. Dunk is like a 90% pass completion rate as well, so I wasn't denigrating Lewis Dunk. Congratulations to him getting into the England panel. I'd love to see a Dunk and Mings partnership. I think it would be a fine partnership for England, albeit that some of the tabloids might actually lose their mind if there was if the two of them started in the centre of defence. To be honest with you, I suppose we've been kind of tempering this one. I'm so looking forward to the team sheet tantrum. Paddy is going to be over at the game, so I'm going to try and get you on, Paddy. Well, I'm not going to try. We will do everything we possibly can. If we've to get an outside broadcast truck over to you or somehow or whatever, we'll get you on for a team sheet tantrum, because I'm really looking forward to this game. And trying to temper things a small bit. I see a lot of things online about people talking about, what could the draw be for Europe? Superstitious people are saying let's not be thinking that way, and I think I sometimes might come down on that side of the fence as well. But I'm going to enjoy the build up to this game. I'm going to enjoy the confidence that this team has given us. I'm going to enjoy the season this team has given us and this manager has given us. And I will tell you one thing: if we are to be successful at the weekend and get into Europe, I think the post-match podcast mightn't make much sense at all. It might just be a series of guttural cries and roars, but I would love to see you all there so we can all celebrate it together.
I'll put it to you this way: if we win on Sunday, the chances of me getting on directly after the match are slim to zero.
Yeah. Yeah. I will be definitely flying solo on that one. I can guarantee it. You'll try anyway, Paddy, because you'll try, but I'd say it'll be slim to zero. One other little thing I just wanted to say before we wrap up for today. I just wanted to say once again, a massive thank you to everybody who's reached out to us with regards to our live podcast in September. It's 3 months away, and the amount of outpouring of excitement and just nice things, nice words has been fantastic, and it's genuinely touching. And I want to say thank you so much. There's still about maybe 35 tickets left. It's been incredible the amount of tickets that have gone so far, considering it's only live for the last week or so. It's incredible. So there's about 35 tickets left. If anybody is interested, you'll be able to find the link. You'll be able to find us on Eventbrite. Hey, guess what? The beauty about having a podcast with the name that we have is once you search it, you'll only be able to find us. So it's it's absolutely fantastic that way. And if anybody is looking for the link, you can just reach out to us as well. But I just want to say thank you to everybody who's reached out with kind words. We're really looking forward to it. Be honest with you, it's exciting and it's terrifying all in the one go because while we do this live, and I'm always passionate having a microphone thrown in front of my face and talking. I have no problem. We want to put on the best night we possibly can. So preparations are in full swing, and we're really looking forward to it. So thank you to everybody. As I said, tickets are still available. There's about
It's actually
35.
bizarre to be thinking about it, because I think it was just over 3 years since I've been doing this with you, and I actually had the thought this morning that, you only get to the podcasting is not it's not easy. We don't just rock up and talk shite. We have to plan a day around each other to actually get in front of a screen and do whatever.
Yeah.
And I woke up
But
this
we do
morning,
talk shite.
Oh, we do talk shite. Yeah.
I'm proud of that.
we do have a little bit of WhatsApping going on. What are we going to talk about? And what do we need to do?
Yeah.
But like for this scenario, we've got to, at this time of year, we're kind of go. I'm kind of going. Do you know what? It's great now. I'm looking forward to the rest and a few weeks off and holidays, and it just came over me. Hang on a minute. All these people have bought tickets to come and see us. We haven't even announced 2 of the guests, and the tickets are nearly sold out. And I'm just like, wow, this is incredible. So thank you so much to everybody who's bought a ticket.
100%.
I hope you come along and have a ball of a night. We've a couple of guests to announce over the next few days, but who knows? We mightn't even need to announce them to sell the last of the tickets. They could be gone, being today is payday. That's the thing. We've sold most of the tickets, not even payday yet. So it is incredible, and the people that have reached out, people traveling from Birmingham, people coming down from Donegal, up from Kerry, Cork, everywhere. It's absolutely brilliant. I'm delighted
Someone
to be
reached
able
out
to.
to me. I think they're coming from Spain for it.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So the weather in Spain in September is going to be a hell of a lot better than it's going to be in Dublin. I can tell you that much.
Well, I hope
but you know
there's no
what? The
hole in the
Guinness won't
roof,
be as
'cause
nice.
I can pretty much guarantee that it won't be raining inside the venue.
No.
Outside, we can do nothing about that.
Exactly.
And we'll all be on the high stool afterwards, and we couldn't care what the weather is like outside.
Absolutely. So thank you so much to everybody for that. Really, 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 really appreciate it. And that's really going to do it for us. As I say, it's been a bit of a mooted one. Reason being is because it's very early in the morning here, and this is going to be going out live, out later, should I say, about 10:30. Thank you so much as well. With this being the last match preview for a while, thank you so much to everybody for everything over the course of the year. We're not going anywhere. You know me, you're going to be sick of seeing my face talking about Joe Blogs from Sampdoria's under 8 team that's being linked with Villa. So going to ramp all those up again. And I know a couple of people have reached out to me. I did have so many things done, and like 5 centre halves I think Villa should look at, 5 left backs, all that kind of stuff. Fortunately, life has just gotten in the way recently, as you well know, but might try and rock those together now over the next few days and just release them all in a drip feed manner. Maybe just consolidate them all together and do one show on centre halves, one on left backs. We'll see what the story is, but it just takes time to kind of record all those. But we'll get them done, and hopefully none of them will be out of date by the time they get released. But less of all that and less of our production meeting here that we're doing at the end of this podcast. It's all about Aston Villa. Paddy, I wish you a massive, I hope you have a massive day. I hope that you have a safe travels, and I hope that everybody who's going to Villa Park at the weekend has safe travels. And I hope at the end of it that we all have that little tear of happiness in our eyes, and Villa are going to be going to Europe, because I think this fan base needs it. I think it would mean so much to this fan base. And Paddy, I remember that's what I said. That's what I was saying to you before the podcast. I said that if we were to get into Europe, it would be that the atmosphere after the game would be much better than it was after the playoff win. And the reason being is because it'll be in Villa Park. It'll be in Villa Park, and it will be something special. So I hope that rings true. I hope that rings true afterwards.
And my hope is, regardless of what happens, that we get fully behind the team.
Yes.
Even if it's in defeat, just remember the incredible season, our second half of the season we're after having. It's hard to think of what might have been if we'd have just won a few more before Unai came in. And look, what will be, but be thankful for where we are and not where we were 5 years ago. And it's been an amazing journey. It's absolutely unbelievable to be where we are. So don't get too down if it doesn't go our way. Regardless of what happens, just go celebrate it and be thankful that we have an unbelievable manager and a bright future ahead.
Absolutely. And that's a fantastic way to end the podcast. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Here we are, hoping, praying, whatever you've got, whatever routine you have and whatever superstition you have, stick to it over the next few days. We're going to need everybody's positivity and everybody's help over the next few days. And hopefully we're celebrating at the final whistle. So we will be back again with a team sheet tantrum, as I mentioned. And we'll be back with a post-match directly afterwards. But until then, everybody, stay safe, stay healthy, stay positive, and all that's left to say for one last time before the end of the season is up the Villa.
Up the Villa.